We are going to look at introduction to database. And the first thing that we are going to look at is defining what is data. You will know that data, we normally say data is any information or facts, or we can say data is unprocessed information, or we can say data has no meaning and it becomes useful at the time it has been processed. So data can be your name, data can be your age, data can be your date of birth. Again, data can be your details like your house address, money in your bank account, maybe the car that you drive, or the food that you eat. Also, data can be maybe a school information such as maths, such as statistics. Also, it can be information about technology. Again, data can be in terms of images, data can be in terms of files, text, or videos. Now, for example, we want to think of such a scenario whereby in a school, what data can be information about a student. In a school, we can have information about a student being a data, the teachers and the subject they teach also being a data. So databases are used to store data. And once this data is processed, then we can generate this data as information to help us make a decision. So having understood what is data, we need to ask ourselves, what is a database? So if you look at the diagram that we have we have a database, and our database acts as a container. And we say a database is a collection of structured information. We say database is a collection of structured information or data that is stored electronically in our computer system, or data that is stored electronically in our computer system. Then, why do we need to store data in our database? Why do we need to store data in our databases? We store data in our bases for easy access so that we can modify them for protection. And again, we can be able to analyze this data. So these are some of the reasons why we store data in our database: for easy access, for modification, protection, and also for analysis purposes. So the next thing we are going to look at, we are going to ask ourselves, having understood what is data, having understood what is database, we need to look at the components of a database. For a database to function, it has the following component. For example, for our bodies to function, we have hands, we have arms, but for a database to function, we have components like hardware, and hardware are tangible components. Right now, we need the keyboard, we need the mouse, we have the procedures. These are the rules that are guiding our database. We have the data. We have seen data are raw facts or any information or data that has been unprocessed. We have the softwares. Software are instructions that enables the hardware to function. We also have the access language for us to be able to manipulate the database, for us to be able to query the database. We have the access language. So these are some of the components of a database: the hardware, the procedures, the data, the software, and access language. So for us to be able to manipulate our database or access the database, we use a software called Database Management System, DBMS. Examples of database management system that helps us to query data, to filter data, to generate report. Some of them are MySQL, and SQL stands for Structured Query Language. We have PostgreSQL, we have MongoDB, we have Neo4j, and also we have Cassandra. There's some of the database management system that we can use to query the data. Now, having looked at that, we also know that our database has its pros and it has its cons, or the advantages and disadvantages of the database. And some of the advantages of the database are, number one, we have seen databases are used for storing data, and therefore it provides or it improves data sharing and employees' productivity. Also, with databases, they remove redundancy. This is repetitions of data. Also, we have greater security and privacy of data. It also shows you an integrated view of your business, ensures there is consistency of your data, provides robust backup and recovery, and also there is a clean and centralized view of your customers' data. Having looked at advantages, databases also have disadvantages, and some of them are increased cost. You find the cost of maintaining the database, also the advanced hardware, the training, also the licensing, regulatory compliance, and also the skilled employees. There is also complexity, and also the failure of database can have severe and negative effects to a database. Yeah, some of the limitations of the database. So we have seen data, and we're saying data can be defined as unprocessed information, and information, it is data that has been processed and can be used in making decision making. Anytime we have data in, it is unorganized. But the time we have data out, we receive it as information that can help us make decision. Think like this. In a class, if every student receives a numbered score, then the score can be calculated to get average. So students' score act as data, but the average now acts as information. When calculated, we can determine the average and we can make a decision based on that. Thank you.